Hello, this is wmpyr here to share my first impressions of Terminator 4. Everyone is rushing to go see Star Wars right now. It's the opening weekend for the new Star Wars film. But for me, I didn't want to be involved in that craze, and I will take my time to see Star Wars. In the meantime, I got to see Terminator 4. This was the film that I personally, for me, wanted to see the most this year. This is the film that I was most excited about this year. And I didn't go see it in the movie theater just because I heard it was so bad. So sadly, I didn't. What really did it for me was the previews. When I saw the trailer, it just looked really bad, really bad. And because of it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna skip this one, and I did. Now, having watched it at home just now on DVD, I have to say that I didn't think it was that bad. I enjoyed it. Now, keep in mind, please, that I like Terminator 1, Terminator 2. I'm actually probably one of the few that likes Terminator 3 and Terminator Salvation, and I've watched the TV shows, and I like those too. So I guess in a way that kind of makes me a hardcore Terminator fan. So I have everything as far as Terminator goes, and I like everything. So coming from that perspective, Terminator 4, I like it too. I enjoyed it. Now, can I understand why it flopped, and do I understand why maybe a lot of people didn't like it? Yes, absolutely. The funny thing is, if you give it a chance, I think the worst part of it really was the previews, the trailer. I don't know how they did the editing for it or who did it or what, but I think that was the worst part. So if you watch the trailer and you go, oh, I don't want to see Terminator 4, everyone's saying it's bad. Yeah, I feel like the trailer really hurt the film and doesn't do it justice. It's weird. It's one of those movies like that, you know. Now the other thing that I felt like hurt the film really bad was the casting. I felt like the casting was really off. Yes, I understand that the female actress that plays Sarah Connor is very popular right now. I actually watch Game of Thrones, so for me, I see Khaleesi on there, and I enjoy watching her on Game of Thrones. It's just that I don't think she's right for Sarah Connor. It's just a little strange. It kind of in a way feels okay, but in a kind of way it feels really off. And a lot of the other actors. And when I first heard that they hired Arnold again to play the Terminator, I was really disappointed. I was like, dude, just let him go. We don't need him for the franchise. Let him give. It kind of reminded me of, like, I don't know, like watching an old professional wrestler who's still the champion, and you know he's old and he's retained the champion belt for a long time, and he just doesn't want to give up the belt. That's what it kind of reminded me of, and it was like, dude, give the younger guys a chance to get over. That's kind of like what I felt, but then after watching the movie, I felt like Arnold carried the show, and he did a really good job this time. He was entertaining, very entertaining. And at first it was kind of weird seeing him old, but then it was like, I realized before they even said it in the film that yes, he has a human body on the outside that is actual real skin, flesh and bone, and not bone but flesh, and because of it that it would age, it would make sense, so that made total sense to me. There was some parts of the film that didn't make sense, and I think, spoiler alert, at this point it's no problem for me to give a spoiler, so let me say stuff like there's a part where multiple humans teleport back in time, or sorry, not back in time, forward in time. And I thought it was just only one person, and to do multiple like that, which we saw it in the TV show too, so that's okay. But it just felt a little, and I think one of the main problems with the Terminator franchise is after Terminator 2. The T-1000, the liquid metal guy, after they released and showed that to the world, it's kind of like, what do you do next? that's the best one. That's the best Ultimate Terminator. And after you showed the T-1000, everything else looks lame. Everything else looks kind of like a wannabe of the T-1000. I remember the Terminator X, we finally got to see a female Terminator. The concept is cool, and then she's a Terminator to kill other Terminators. That sounds awesome. But in a way, she was just kind of like, she had a little bit of liquid metal, so she was kind of like a wannabe T-1000, but not fully. She just didn't, blow us away like when we first saw the Terminator, the T-1000. When you first saw that liquid metal thing back in the 90s, it was also special effects wise, it was like, wow. And on top of that, the concept and all that was really, really cool. It's just hard to top that, And then with this, the Terminator that we see in this one, the Terminator 4, Terminator, the bad guy, is just, it's like this magnetic, I want to say nano technology, something like that, the nanobites. But in a way, it doesn't make any sense, because if the nanobites or nanocytes got into him and restructured his cells from the core, I mean, it's not like that. It's almost like it just completely altered him completely, rather than a cyborg. It just it's too much. What was that film with what's his face, Johnny Depp, where he merges with a computer? I forgot what it was called, but what was that called? Anyway, in that movie, which I don't think it did well. And when you see the previews to Terminator 4, you go, oh, it's kind of like that movie, where the next Terminator is kind of like that. And why would you do that when you know that other film flopped? So it reminded me of that Johnny Depp movie, and I was just like, that wasn't a good movie. And then in this Terminator, they're going to do that, and it was like, oh no, that's not a good sign. And it's one of the reasons why I didn't go see it. And the CGI looked really bad. And then when you look at Mad Max Fury Road, and the CGI is like, you almost can't tell what's CGI and what's not. So I couldn't tell, other than me going, that has to be CGI, or else the stunt person would have gotten killed, or Charlize Theron, that's she has an arm. Other than that, it looked really good. So just the CGI difference there. But Terminator 4. I think the bad guy Terminator just kind of didn't make any sense, and he was a little weird, and he was really strange to look at. The actor's face is very unique, almost too unique, that it takes away from the role. And then on top of that, they gave him a really hideous scar, so you're like staring at the scar the whole time. But all these that I'm bringing out are maybe kind of minor issues. The main issue then would be, film-wise, is casting. Like I said, the trailer can just turn you off completely. You're going to shoot it down because the trailer is just off-putting. If you could get through the trailer and go, hey, the film might be a lot better, that the trailer doesn't do it justice, and then when you watch it, for me, the main issue then was the casting. The budget is astronomically huge looking, pretty much like what you'd expect from every Terminator film, I guess, because they're all like expected to be summer blockbuster hits, It's a huge, huge budget. Story wasn't bad. The acting, I don't think, was bad, although the chemistry between Sarah Connor and oh man, I'm having a blank, but the guy Kyle Reese is just kind of wasn't there for me. I actually liked the chemistry between Claire Danes and the John Connor much better, actually. Arnold did a great job, I thought, but overall it was more the casting. And then the cop that helps him out, he just reminded me too much of the psychiatrist in the first and second films. And or actually, I think, he was even in the third film briefly, and it was just like, who are you? and he doesn't even really look like a cop to me either. So it just, yeah, the casting was kind of what hurt it for me. But other than that, really, I thought it was not as bad as people say it was. I was able to enjoy it. So, but then again, like I said, I am perhaps a hardcore fan of the Terminator franchise. I don't think of myself that way, but when I look at I have all the DVDs and I like watching it, so I maybe I am. But anyway, so that's all my 2 cents. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.